Hey friends, come on in the kitchen. We still don't have a name for this show that I do every day for the YouTube channel. So I'm hoping y'all will send in some names because I don't know what to call it. I did call it Paula Deen's COVID quarantine videos. So hopefully this quarantine and all the virus is going to be behind us, hopefully very soon. So I'm going to keep doing these, but I don't want to call it quarantine videos because I want to get this in our past, in our rear view mirror. So I'll just need to call it something else. So anyway, today I am not sharing a recipe with y'all from any of my cookbooks, nor from my magazine, nor from my Facebook or website. Today, I'm paying homage to a dear friend's cookbook. The Happy in a Hurry Cookbook. Steve Doocy is such a dear friend. Now, I've never met Kathy, but knowing Steve, she's got to be a perfectly wonderful woman. I admire his son so very much. I have not met his daughters either, but they're lawyers. I mean, he has produced some really smart children and good children, and I have a lot of respect for him for that. He and Kathy had a cookbook, the first cookbook, and I guess it came out 2 or 3 years ago, right, Ed?
Yeah, maybe about 2 years ago.
And the other day, he sent me a text and said, well, our second cookbook has hit the presses, and I wanted to make sure that you had one. So I appreciate that so much, Steve. This is a good guy. A really good guy. He's funny, he's entertaining, and what I love about his cookbook is he tells stories. I tell you, Steve and Kathy have heck of a memories because things that they talk about go back to when Steve was a child and his grandmothers were present in his life. But as he and Kathy, looks like they're eating ice cream or yogurt or something. But Steve loves to cook. So I thought, well, this would be a wonderful way for me to pay homage to my friend's cookbook. So this just came out, and I think the day it came out, y'all, I think came out #1 on the bestseller list. I'm pretty sure that on its first day it was #1. So it's so entertaining. I've been sitting around reading some of the stories, and he tells about Lisa's legit hash brown casserole. And he said he remembered back in the 1960s in Russell, Kansas, when he was growing up, that his mama brought in some groceries, and he was shocked because there were potatoes already cut up, and he couldn't understand why she wasn't cutting up the potatoes. Well, he realized that his mother had 5 children. She was tired, she worked, and she had to get a meal on to feed these 5 children. And so she fried up the hash browns along with some onions in a pan. And Steve said, and I'm sure he didn't tell his mother, but he said actually they were better than his mother's, homemade. So later on down the road, his sister Lisa came up with this recipe, or it was passed down to Lisa from somebody. And it's a little different from the hash brown casseroles that I make. So here goes, Steve and Kathy. I thank you for sharing your cookbook with us around the world, and sharing laughs with you, which is always great. So you're a dear, sweet friend. All right, so I'm gonna start with or Steve is gonna start, and Kathy's gonna start with 1 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese. So he tells us to just kind of mash that and get it kind of soft. All right, now we're gonna add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. This is a great little easy recipe. And it sounds very, very tasty, Steve. Okay. It calls for 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of pepper. Now I just did 1 teaspoon because I don't want to get anything too salty for others. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And to that we're going to add 1 cup of sour cream. Now Steve tells us that they always make this in individual ramekins. So, years ago, Good Housekeeping, I've sprayed these and now they're greasy. Years ago when I was in New York and I was on the cover of Good Housekeeping magazine, all the girls there were so sweet, and they gave me these souffle dishes. This is for popovers, and I've never made a popover in them, but I am gonna make Steve and Kathy Doocy's show enough hash brown casserole, a legit, I think he calls it. Okay, so I'm gonna stir that up good. And if you wanted to, he didn't say this in the recipe, but you could always use a little hand mixer. You know, if you were in a big hurry and wanted to get it creamed up good. All right, now I'm gonna add, that was probably 4 spring onions or green onions, scallions, whatever you call them in your area. All right, now we're gonna put in 2 cups You know, I've gotten where I can't open these kind of sacks anymore. Because my strength just isn't there. There we go. All right, 2 cups of shredded sharp cheese. I bet Steve, coming from Kansas, I bet they had some fine, fine steaks when he was coming along out there. All right, now we're gonna use a, let's see how big this is. I don't want to tell y'all wrong. This is a 30 ounce. All right, let's see, let me find them. 1 30-ounce package of thawed, so make sure they're not still frozen, of thawed potatoes, hash brown, shredded. Or I guess you could, they make these in cubed potatoes, so I guess you could use the cubed if you prefer that. So Steve tells us just to mix it until every one of those hash browns are coated in your sour cream mixture. And he told me now to spray the dish, whatever I was gonna put this in. He told me to spray it so it wouldn't stick. That cream cheese, whoa, get back in there. And it takes a few minutes because you want to get that cream cheese, you know, mixed up real good. Hey, come on in. I'm making Steve and Kathy Doocy's legit casserole, hash brown casserole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his sister's recipe. So he tells me that they always cook it in ramekins, I guess depending on how many people they're having. And he said to make a little mound of it, so it looks like a dome. Okay, that's one. And then he said that they take the leftovers and just bake those in a casserole dish, Michael. So that's gonna be a nice fat serving of legit hash brown casserole. Yum. Oh, and doesn't it look delicious? Ooh, that cream cheese, yummers.
That's a great idea, doing it in the little ramekins.
I know, isn't that good?
That way you're really gonna get a crunchy all the way around.
That's exactly what he said. That you're gonna get that nice crunch. And two, it's just easy. You know, when you dip into a casserole, you know, and everybody dipping in all different places, and I don't like the dome on this one. That was my first one, so I'm gonna go back and fix his dome. All right, now I like that dome. So I'll spray this dish, and we'll just put the rest of that casserole in this. You know what I think I might do, Eddie? I think I might just bake these off and then put these leftovers in the casserole dish, and I won't cook them until tomorrow. How about that? Wouldn't that be smart?
Mm-hmm.
And we could invite company, new company, and they would never know that this was left over from the previous day. So there you go. I'll just put a plastic wrap on that, and actually it would probably be good in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days, because it's not like it's got mayonnaise or eggs or anything like that. So we're gonna bake this, and Steve said put it on a cookie sheet just in case it spills over, and we're gonna bake that for about 45 minutes. I can't believe this, y'all. Look, it puffed up like a
souffle.
Like a souffle, yes. Oh my gosh, Steve. That is so good. That is, Lisa's legit hash brown casserole. It is delicious. Thank you so much, Steve, for you and Kathy sharing so much with, oh gosh, it's hot, with all of us out here that like to be happy, but in a hurry doing it.
I think there's a lot of people out there that way.
There's a lot of people out there that want to be happy, but dadgummit, I'm in a hurry. Great cookbook, great stories. So if you don't have it, I would highly recommend. I think you'd enjoy it. Thank you, Steve, so much. Love and best dishes to all of y'all out there. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.